pulls away. He looks left. He's got some time. Inside the 20.
They're going to tackle down the sideline.
Straight up the middle. Has 5, has 10, has 15. Touchdown!
From Jacksonville. It's been a festive week. Yesterday, the Gator Bowl rolled through downtown. Today, game time, and a sea of red and orange awaits Nebraska and Clemson. It's the Conaca Minolta Gator Bowl on CBS. From the Big 12, the Nebraska Cornhuskers. From the ACC, the Clemson Tigers. And hi, everyone. Happy New Year to you. Craig Bolerjack, glad you're alongside here on CBS. Nebraska 8-4, won their final 3 games in a very tough Big 12 conference. How about Clemson? They survived a midseason coaching change, won their final 3 games, and both Nebraska and Clemson are here in Jacksonville for the 64th Annual Gator Bowl. Alongside Steve Berline and the Hall of Famer Dan Fouts, we're glad you're with us. And Dan, let's talk about Nebraska. Cornhuskers, one of the most potent offenses in the country, and the trigger man is their quarterback, and he's a good one, Joe Ganz.
Yeah, the senior from Palos Heights, Illinois, told us yesterday it's been quite a journey for him this season. It's been a rough road at times, but it all concludes today after a great season. His numbers have been record-breaking for the Huskers, but more important than the numbers may be, 2 words best describe Ganz: leader and competitor. To Ganz, leadership means earning the respect of his teammates, and as far as being a competitor, he learned that from playing basketball with his dad Mike and his older brother Dan. It was just born in him. He has 2 great, outstanding wide receivers, seniors Todd Peterson and Nate Swift. Swift is the Huskers' all-time leading receiver. They call their offense the West Coast offense, spread for the running game and the West Coast for the passing game, and obviously Joe Ganz is the key.
I'm glad you said it, not me. Let's bring in Steve Berline and talk about Clemson. Now, their offense is mighty good as well. Got a bite to it, not 1, but 2.
No doubt about it, Craig. Coach Dabo Swinney is hoping that he and his team brought with him the makings of the perfect storm today from South Carolina. That perfect storm including the big dose of thunder and lightning. Thunder being senior running back James Davis. He's the power runner. Today can set both the career rushing record and touchdown record for Clemson all time. C.J. Spiller, he's the lightning. Over 12 touchdowns of over 50 yards in his career. This guy has got speed, but don't think for a second they can only run the football. Cullen Harper, senior quarterback, playing much better the second half of the season, going to all day long the all-time leading receiver in the ACC, Aaron Kelly. They will be putting the ball up in the air as well. But defensively, I think is going to be a real interesting battle. Michael Hamlin leads one of the very best secondaries in the country, pass defense against that vaunted Nebraska pass offense. It's going to be a great matchup today.
So we're set for the 64th Annual Gator Bowl. Temperature at game time, 58 degrees. Wind could be a factor, gusting at times, 17 miles an hour. Forecast is called for partly cloudy. And this game is being brought to you in crystal clear CBS high definition. Nebraska 8-4, won their last 3 in a tough Big 12 conference, and Clemson guys 7-5. One of the surprises in the ACC, winning their final 3 ball games, and of course gaining the invitation to the Gator Bowl here in Jacksonville. Nebraska set to kick away Adi Kanalik teed up at the 30-yard line, and we are underway into a brisk win. And this ball falls shy of the 10-yard line. Spiller up the middle, finds a hole at the 35-40. And Spiller runs his way to the 43-yard line. As we check the starting lineups, the quarterback for Clemson, Cullen Harper, will play his final game as a Clemson Tiger. 11 touchdowns and 12 interceptions on the season. Let's check out the starting lineups presented by Konica Minolta. Offensive line, it's a big story, hit hard by injuries. The center, Bobby Hutchinson, was a student assistant when the season started, came out of retirement to help out. And Aaron Kelly and Jacoby Ford are threats on the outside. Kelly has the height at 6'5", and Ford has the breakaway speed.
Dan, you mentioned the layoff before this bowl game. Coach Dabo Swinney got to be frustrated. He spent his whole bowl preparation probably setting up that first play, and to have to waste a timeout to open the game up, that shows what that long layoff can do to you.
Now they're going to switch it again. They talked about it. Let's go for it. Direct snap. Spiller in round. They're going to go to Harper. Rolling, looking downfield for the long ball. Tied up, incomplete. James Davis, the intended receiver. So after the timeout, they go back with the original play. It'll be 2nd down and 10. As we check out Nebraska, the Huskers up front defensively. Allen Steinkühler, Sue, and Potter. They've totaled 16.5 sacks. How about the linebackers? Well, they've suffered some injuries, but senior Tyler Wortman plays on. And the secondary is led by strong safety Larry Asante with 64 tackles on the season. We'll see Harper in shotgun most of the afternoon. 3rd down and 10. First minute here in the opening quarter in the Gator Bowl. Again, flush out of the pocket, throws over the middle. It's caught. Jacoby Ford breaks away, and it's popped at midfield, short of the first down. A pickup of 7, and a tough 7 yards for Ford. There's Bo Pelini, head coach of Nebraska, the rookie head coach. Longtime defensive coordinator, once at Nebraska, Oklahoma, made a stop, a very successful stop at LSU.
Sure.
So back to punt, Jimmy Mainers, averaging just under 41 yards a kick. And back to receive is Swift at his own 10-yard line. Good kick, wind behind him. Swift's going to let this ball bounce into the end zone. Touchback at the 20-yard line. A 50-yard kick. A 50-yard kick. As we bring out Nebraska's quarterback, Joe Ganz, the senior from Palos Heights, Illinois. And look at the career numbers, nearly 5,000 yards passing, 42 touchdowns, and 17 interceptions. This season alone, 3,300 yards and 23 scores.
And one real telling thing about this West Coast passing offense of Nebraska, 18 different receivers have caught a pass this year, including Namakansu, the defensive tackle.
Another great point, too. 30 points or more in 15 of their last 17 games. They score a lot of points.
Option. And Clemson prepared. A loss of 2. Daquan Bowers the tackle. And Nebraska anchored by the right guard, Matt Slauson. Slauson makes his 35th career start today. We talk about Swift and Peterson. They catch a lot of footballs from Ganz. Swift owns 21 career touchdowns. Second down and 13. Ganz goes shotgun. Throws a slant across the middle. It's dropped incomplete at the 25-yard line. And Nate Swift unable to bring it in. Let's check out the Clemson Tigers on the defensive front. Darrell Scott, the lone senior for the Tigers. Linebackers, watch out. Always on the football. Cavell Connor averages over 9 tackles a game. And guys, the secondary is one of the best in the country, led by the all-ACC catback Michael Hamlin with 6 interceptions. Well, Dan Tetchner is in to punt away, averaging just under 40 yards a kick. And he will be punting into a brisk wind of about 20 miles an hour. Another fine kick into the wind. Spiller at the 19. Spiller stops and goes. Stops and goes again at the 20. In trouble. Breaks the tackle. Trying to turn the big corner at the 25. To the 30. To the 40. Spiller. 45. Spiller. At the 50. Can you believe that return?
Steve, you called him lightning. That was like a lightning bolt, all jagged. Great desire, pinned against the sidelines. How many does he make miss? There's 2. That's a swipe across the forehead. That's 3. Now on the near sideline, makes 4 and 5 miss. Cuts back to the middle of the field here, and he's not satisfied. He made the whole team miss.
There were 2 or 3 guys that missed 2 or 3 tackles on that play. And if I hadn't seen him do that repeatedly during the course of the season, I would have been surprised, but not surprised. And his teamimates, they know what he's capable of. They keep flying around trying to make blocks for him.
38-yard punt and a 33-yard return. Right up the middle goes Davis, so they come back with thunder. A minute to play, opening quarter. No score, but back and forth we go. This time Nebraska wraps up Davis, and it's the weak side linebacker Blake Lawrence with the tackle. Davis, by the way, a big happy birthday. 23rd birthday for James Davis.
Well, we all know what he wants for his birthday, a nice Gator Bowl win to end this career. But what he also mentioned would be nice would be to get, about 112 yards and 2 touchdowns. He said that
Clemson spreads the offense, handoff Davis, breaks the tackle to the 23-yard line. That ends the quarter. And Clemson is on the move. Scoreless after 1. We'll return to Jacksonville after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the Conica-Minolta Gator Bowl only on CBS. A scoreless first quarter after 15 minutes here at the Gator Bowl. Nebraska taking on Clemson. Craig Bolerjack, Steve Berline, the Hall of Famer Dan Fouts. We knew Nebraska, guys, a power team, a strong team, a good offensive team. We knew also, Steve, that Clemson shows a lot of speed. Even though it's scoreless, I think right now we're looking at speeds beating the power.
Yeah, we think about the Big 12 and the power of Nebraska, the big offensive line and defensive line. Well, their feet appear to be stuck in the mud right now. Clemson just running around them on both sides of the ball.
Well, and this game right now is going exactly the way the Clemson Tigers would like it to go. They're only giving up 16.6 points a game. This is a team that really relies on their defense, their speed, and they seem to be a step ahead of the game, both sides of the ball right now, putting together a great drive offensively. If you're liking Clemson, you're feeling pretty good right now.
You look at total yards in that opening quarter, 85 yards of total offense for the Tigers, only 46 for Nebraska. Spiller takes it right at the heart of Nebraska.
Well, that's 2 straight runs right at the heart of Nebraska, and 2 of them have gone for 9 and 10 yards. First it was Davis. This time it's Spiller. So they're feeling pretty good up front about Clemson's ability to pound the ball straight at this Nebraska defense.
And this is an area where you'd think that Nebraska would have the advantage with that tough front 7. We see the red zone numbers right there. Clemson, not a very successful team in general as far as coming away with touchdowns. Only about 58% of the time they come away with touchdowns.
Well, 3rd down and goal. The penalty pushes Clemson back just inside the 10-yard line. Shotgun, Harper takes the snap. 2-step drop, throws a dart far sideline. It's caught. Kelly pushes his way to the 2-yard line. Kelly, I'll tell you, what a big target, Dan. 6'5", 190. And 61 receptions on the season for Aaron Kelly.
But did you notice how Murillo was playing off Kelly, knowing that at 6'5" that the fade is a good route to run down here, but very difficult to run against a cornerback who's 6 yards off. That's why they threw the hitch in front of him, and a solid tackle by Murillo kept Kelly out of the end zone.
And you know what? That's exactly what Murillo was supposed to do. Give up that short pass, come up and make the tackle. They had a blitz coming. Great open field tackle by Murillo.
And Mark Buchholz. Blocked! The 20-yard attempt is knocked down.
Nabakin Sue, the young man from Portland, Oregon, born in the Cameroon. The best player on this Nebraska defense comes up with a huge play to deny Clemson a field goal.
Well, I'm not so sure that Buchholz, it just seemed like that ball came out kind of low to me. I don't know.
You know, you're right, Steve, because it looked like Sue might have blocked it with his elbow and not his hand. Number 93 getting up in the air. Well, he's 6'4", but this is a weird-looking kick.
Look at the follow-through, too. That he barely even followed through after he hit the ball. That ball never got up the way it's supposed to be. And Pelini, of course, and his staff, his team, very excited. Well, maybe Bo Pelini not too excited, but Nebraska excited.
Nebraska used all 3 of their timeouts in the opening quarter. Play clock down to 2, down to 1. Just got the snap away. Ganz on the rollout, sets up, throws. It's caught. And Swift somehow in traffic makes the grab at the 40-yard line.
Michael Hamlin had a shot at picking this one off and taking it into the end zone.
And I don't know how Ganz was able to roll out. Looks like he's got a lame right ankle.
Well, you're going to see the motion come across and out to the flat and then out to the flat this way. But the problem you're going to see initially on the snap when Joe Ganz wants to throw it, these two are too close together right here. There's not a clear seam for him, but he does a good job buying time. Almost had that ball go the other way, but that time it worked in his favor. Got the ball in there for a good conversion on 3rd down.
18th consecutive game that Swift has caught a football from Joe Ganz. Play clock again down to 1. Quick pitch, that ball's loose. It's up. It's into the hands of McDaniel. Touchdown, Clemson.
This is just another example. Right here is McDaniel. He comes up the field, makes Joe Ganz pitch the ball, gets a hand on it, and then is athletic enough to pick that ball up and take it to the house. The speed of Clemson, again, illustrated very clearly. Nebraska does not have an answer for it.
McDaniel with long arms at just 6'1", but running and just daring Castile to make the tackle before he got in the end zone.
Buchholz punches it up and through. 86 of 86 career point after attempts. And a moment ago, that ball is blocked down. It's fumbled, and DeAndre McDaniel scores the first touchdown of the Gator Bowl here in Jacksonville. $7-0 Clemson over Nebraska. We'll be back on CBS. 7-0. Clemson defense scores the first points here in the Gator Bowl, and McDaniel goes 28 yards off the Nebraska fumble.
Tremendous athletic play. McDaniel, not a big guy, 6'1", 200-pound sophomore, but boy, can he get up the field and is a tremendous athlete to be able to bat that ball and pick it up and take it for the score. I'm telling you guys, this game is going exactly the way Clemson wants it to go right now. Dabo Swinney's got to be pretty fired up.
Well, he asked his players after the coaching change midseason, are you all in? And oh, they're all in. All right. Buchholz. Boy, he drives this ball deep. Taking 1 yard deep is Niles Paul. Upended, still on his feet. Did his knee hit the ground? Yes, the official steps in and blows that play dead at the 21. This crowd now getting a little noisy on 3rd down and 6. A minute 42 to play. Nebraska down by 7 with the football late here in the first half. Ganz sets up in the shotgun. 3-step drop, looking, puts it down. Turns the corner. On his back foot, throws, caught!
You know, we talk about the attributes of Joe Ganz earlier, leadership, competitor. This is what it's all about. Under duress there, now he gets his team to the line of scrimmage. They're going to go hurry up because they have to. Once the chains are set, the clock will run, but what a play by Ganz.
That's the beauty of Joe Ganz right there, using those feet, buying some time, making a play.
A pass play of 23 yards, 1st and 10.
And Craig, the chains on the far side of the field got all tangled up.
Nebraska catching a bit of a break with no timeouts remaining. And we'll see what tricks Nebraska has up their sleeves.
Well, this would be huge for Nebraska to get some kind of points on the board, a little bit of production going into halftime.
Ganz sets up and throws, far sideline, incomplete. Mentally Colt, the intended receiver. That stops the clock now, 1:25 to play.
Well, this is how you earn the respect of your teammates, by making a huge play on a day where you're struggling and your whole offense is struggling. Look at him. Runs out of that tackle, and that throw is phenomenal. Running to his left, getting his shoulders square to the line, and putting the ball on the money.
Well, you talked about his competitive nature. This is a kid that will keep coming at you all day long. You can hit him, you can knock him down, but Joe Ganz is going to keep on getting up and coming back.
He found himself as a second stringer throughout most of his career until the final month of last season. And he's taken over from that point on. Castile on the pitch, out of bounds. And so Nebraska using the clock and the plays on the short side of the field. That stops the clock out of bounds with 1:20 to play.
Well, the perfect play call, as they had a blitz on the weak side here. And Castile very frustrated at the end of this that he doesn't get the corner and get into the end zone.
Well, I'm impressed they went back with that same speed option to the left side after they ended up giving Clemson a touchdown the last time they ran it. Shows you the consistency of Sean Watson.
Pressure's on, ball is up for grabs. Ganz trying to grab it, and it falls incomplete. Boy, Clemson brought 7, 8, 9 players on that rush.
But you know what? The biggest play of the game from Nebraska's standpoint to this point right now was a play of Joe Ganz right there. To see that ball up in the air, the little man, probably the smallest man out there, got up high, jumped, and knocked that ball down and kept Clemson from coming up with a drive-killing interception.
Yeah, it was a perfect set, and he spiked it for the winner.
Alex Henry is in to try a 48-yard field goal on the season, 14 of 17, and Henry has leg, hit a 57-yard kick against Colorado and hits it from 48. Henry this season now 14 of 15 inside of 50. And that one went 48.
And a huge one last game out against Colorado when he hit 4 field goals that day. Got a little bit of a breeze behind him, and he just squeezes it in the right side.
So Nebraska finds the scoreboard with 1:10 to play. The 48-yard field goal by Henry. Adi Kunalik set to kick. Big leg. No return. Nearly got it out of the end zone.
Boy, how big was that field goal? Just to give Nebraska a better feeling about themselves. Their defense has got to be happy. They haven't allowed any points today, but offensively they've struggled. That was really a well-designed and engineered drive by the Husker offense.
They got the running game going a little bit. Joe Ganz made some plays in the passing game with his feet. Good solid drive to end the half for him, but now over a minute left for Clemson to go down the field here with 2 timeouts.
Harper, shotgun, ball batted down. Oh, picked off! That ball floated. Anthony West gives Nebraska a whole new life here late in the second quarter.
I was just going to say before the play, the worst thing that could happen right now would be for a turnover. Clemson's part. This is a tip ball, not necessarily Colin Harper's fault. But
Ty
boy,
Steinkuhler again.
Ty Steinkuhler getting that big paw up there in the air. That left hand.
Boy, what a game he's having for the Huskers. Has forced a fumble, has got us the only sack in the game, and now creates a turnover.
How huge is that for Nebraska now? Already, they're having a little bit of a mark off a penalty.
Saying it's excessive celebration, perhaps after the interception, but it's Nebraska ball. But if you go back to the Colorado game, after the field goal by Henry, Zach Potter deflected a pass that was picked off by Ndamukong Suh. So that's something these guys are pretty good at, is getting their hands up in the air and creating turnovers.
Well, let's see if Joe Ganz can capitalize with his offense here. Great field position, plenty of time left in the half.
But remember, no timeouts remaining for Nebraska. From the shotgun, Ganz, quick throw. It's picked off. Butler, can he go the distance out of bounds? And he's pushed out by Ganz.
Well,
Back-to-back interceptions. Nebraska looks to be knocking on the front door. Now Clemson will have 54 seconds to find the end zone.
And Clemson came with the blitz, forced the quick throw to the outside. It was thrown late. It was thrown behind Niles Paul. But give Ganz credit for making that tackle. Butler thinking touchdown all the way. What a huge turn of events for the Orange.
They're going to make Clemson at least earn the touchdown. They did it with Joe Ganz, as you said, doing a great job making the tackle. But what a tremendous play by Cresden Butler, setting up Joe Ganz, knowing the blitz was coming, letting the receiver make his route, make his decision, and then jumping it 100% right on time.
59-yard return. Clemson. There's a pump. Harper, chase, toss down at the 30-yard line. That's Ndamukong Suh. What a game he's had in the first half.
And what that sack does is that forces a longer field goal try if that's all the Tigers get out of this. But you can't hold the ball this long.
You really can't. He had plenty of time to see what was going on up the field. They were trying to go with a double move inside, and he needed the time to see it, but the Nebraska defense did not bite on it. Colin Harper, as soon as he saw that Ndamukong Suh flash in front of him, he's got to get that football out of there, avoid the big sack. 3 plays in a row, the quarterback has basically done the no-no. We see an interception, and now taking a sack. All of these done in the last minute of the first half. All of them big-time no-nos.
Under pressure today, sacked twice. He's been hurried 5 times. Second down and 22. Colin Harper sets up. What's the deep ball? Goes up top. Man coverage. Oh, caught in the end zone. Aaron Kelly.
Well, Dan, I don't know about you. When that ball was thrown, I thought it was thrown a little bit late to get it in the end zone, but for Colin Harper and Aaron Kelly, they know each other so well. Aaron Kelly coming back and making the adjustment. I thought it was going to be too late to make the play.
The key word, adjustment. He had to turn a 360 behind Anthony West to make that grab. Super job by Aaron Kelly.
Buck Colts keeps the streak alive. 87 consecutive point afters. And Aaron Kelly just became Clemson's all-time leader in receiving yards. And what a way to do it with a catch in the end zone.
Unbelievable. It could not have come at a better time for Dabo Swinney and the Clemson Tigers. And you got to give Colin Harper credit. The most important thing in a situation like this is to give the receiver a chance to make the play. The worst thing would be to throw the ball over him, out of bounds, somewhere like that. He gave his big 6'5" receiver a chance to go up and get this football, and what a great adjustment he made.
And give Anthony West a lot of credit. I mean, you can't cover any closer. He missed the ball by perhaps 5 inches.
Final seconds will tick off here. Clemson up by a 14-3 count. And Bo Pelini to the locker room. That ends the first half. With the score, Clemson 14, Nebraska 3. Coming up, Tim Brando, Spencer Tillman, and Tony Barnhart. Halftime in Jacksonville. Clemson 14, Nebraska 3. Craig Bullerjack back along with Steve Berline and the Hall of Famer Dan Fouts. Guys, a scoreless first quarter. Things warmed up courtesy of the turnover, and Clemson scores 14 points off the 2 giveaways by the Huskers.
And who would have ever thought that Nebraska gained more yardage in that first half than Clemson did? But it's those turnovers that have been the difference. And Nebraska's got it done up front with their defensive line tandem of Ty Steinkuhler and Ndamukong Suh. Watch Suh come in here, block that field goal, a relative chip shot from 20 yards out. And then on this play, it's going to be Steinkuhler coming in and bringing down Harper almost into the end zone. Great pursuit by number 43. Also had a deflected pass in the first quarter.
Well, for Clemson, though, Craig, it's been a story of defense all the way. Right there, you see DeAndre McDaniel deflecting the pitch and then taking it in himself for the first touchdown of the game. And then right here at the end of the first half, Joe Ganz, bad decision. Cresden Butler jumping that thing like he knew it was coming and taking it down, setting up the final touchdown of the second half, or the first half, for the Clemson Tigers, hitting Aaron Kelly for the big touchdown right at the end of the half to get back and get Clemson in control of this ball game.
Let's look now at the halftime trends presented by Taco Bell. Nebraska, 25 carries, Dan, 103 receiving yards, 2 sacks, a blocked field goal by the Nebraska defense. Thunder and lightning, by the way. Davis and Spiller, 8 rushes for Davis, 23 yards. Spiller with 88 total yards of offense.
And not much running success for Nebraska either. Only 25 yards gained by the trio of running backs, Lucky, Helu, and Castile.
There's Joe Ganz, and he'll set to start the third quarter. Huskers will have the football, down by a count of 14-3.
Well, I'd be anxious to see how this Nebraska team comes out to start this second half. I'm sure Bo Pelini and his staff really got on their team and said, hey, what does it mean to you? Come out and start this second half right. Play Nebraska football like we've been playing the whole second half of the season, and let's see if we can reestablish control of this ball game.
So Mark Buchholz will kick away from the 30-yard line, third quarter, 64th Annual Gator Bowl. And Clemson with the lead of 14-3. Angles that kick to the corner, taken on the run at the 15-yard line. Coming around the corner. And out of bounds goes Deinard, Alfonso Deinard.
They came up with a good catch at about the 15-yard line as that ball hung up in the wind, and then he sees this opening to the near side and turns on the Jets. Just too many Tigers there, and they push him out of bounds. But excellent field position to start your second half.
Well, you look at the first half possessions, 5 straight punts, then a fumble, the field goal, and then the interception that Clemson turned in to a touchdown.
And those two right there, the fumble, the interception, that led directly to the 14 points. One on the actual fumble recovery. The next one led to Aaron Kelly's big touchdown catch.
On the option. Boy, Ganz sold it.
I think half the stadium here thought that Ganz had given the ball up, but he kept it. Fortunately for Clemson, they did not all bite on that fake. And
he comes up limping a little bit. He was shaken up in that first half.
Yeah, he's got something on his right leg, too. It appears to be a sleeve of some type. And after this good fake, the reaction time of Clemson, just too much for Ganz to overcome.
And a pick up a 2, second down and 8. First minute of the third quarter. Play action. Ganz steps up, goes man coverage downfield. Caught! Todd Peterson reached up at 6'4" and made the grab. First and 10 Huskers at the 16-yard line.
Well, the best thing that Joe Ganz can do right now, you got to understand this Clemson defense, they know how to cover people, but you got to give your guys a chance to make a play. He put that ball up, and Dan, as you know, it was great coverage, but the ball was put in the right spot. Joe Ganz realized that a back shoulder throw would give the big Todd Peterson a chance to make the play.
Yeah, neither Peterson or Swift are going to run by anybody. Smart throw by Ganz.
10 of 22 now for Joe Ganz. Shotgun, first down, Nebraska. Quick flip, far side, Niles Paul. And boy, the Tigers and Huskers are popping pads here in Jacksonville.
Boy, Butler with great reaction there, playing the far side, the boundary side. Saw him with his reaction on the interception at the end of the first half. He came up very quickly to keep Paul from a big gain.
Well, you know what continues to impress me about this Clemson defense is the solid open field tackling. I mean, they're not tripping people up and dragging them down by shoestrings. They're coming up and hitting people solidly.
There's the red zone.
Here comes a blitz.
57 possessions, 40 touchdowns for the Huskers on the season, and nothing doing. That was just slow motion. That was slow motion. DeAndre McDaniel, one of the big heroes in the first half, slid right in, made the tackle.
Amazing. You're going to see right here, McDaniel's going to come right through the gap. No one even attempts to pick him up, and he hits Quentin Castile in the backfield for about a 3 or 4 yard loss. When there's a man threatening the gap, you've got to figure that it's either the quarterback's responsibility to get out of that play, or one of the offensive linemen has to make the adjustment to make sure that guy does not get in the backfield untouched.
And Nebraska 4 of 10 on third down conversions. This will be 3rd and 11. Clemson showing the blitz. Ganz goes up top, man coverage, end zone. Touchdown, Swift.
even better catch by Swift. We saw Kelly do it at the end of the first half. Check out this adjustment and stretch for this pass by Nate Swift. On the fingertips, left foot was in, touchdown Nebraska.
I'll tell you what, he had no more room at all to get that other foot in. I mean, that left foot was solidly in. The question, in my opinion, was whether he had clear possession of the ball, but no doubt about it, a great catch, throw and catch by Nate Swift and Joe Ganz.
And the extra point from Alex Henry. 55 of 56 on the season. And it's Ganz right on the fingertips, pulled down by Nate Swift, his 10th touchdown of the season. And Nebraska, on their first possession of the third quarter, closes the gap to 4. Five plays, 54 yards, and 2:36 off the clock. And Swift with the touchdown grab of 17 yards. And for the season, Swift now with 10 touchdown catches, and it's a 14-10 Clemson lead.
Yeah, you look at Nate Swift, and you see the type of receiver you might want to forecast his future. He's got the ability to make catches like that we just saw, but also work over the middle, a lot like a Wes Welker or Brandon Stokely. I had a guy by the name of Charlie Joyner who worked his magic over the middle all the way to Canton, Ohio. But that's the type of receiver I think that Swift can become. He's just got all the tools, and what an effort to make that catch.
There's always room for a guy that can make the big play, find the soft spot in the defense, have speed to hurt you when he gets the opportunity. Swift is one of those guys.
Spiller takes a knee 5 yards deep. How about that quick strike by Nebraska? 18th touchdown drive of the season of 5 or fewer plays.
Just what the doctor ordered.
Coming out to start the third quarter. We'll see what Clemson has up their sleeve. Up by 4. They'll keep it on the ground. The Spiller driven back, and now you see that emotion carrying over to Nebraska's front line. First half for the Clemson Tigers. Punt, gave it up on downs. The blocked field goal, and then back-to-back punts. And then Dan and Steve, things happen. The 2 turnovers by Nebraska, and the Tigers went in for touchdown.
And getting back to Nebraska's drive, you know, Ganz threw the interception to Butler at the end of the first half. Who did he attack on the 2 big plays to Peterson and Swift? He went right back to Butler.
That's confidence. And right there you can see what a quick score by the offense can do for a team. It can energize a team. This defense is coming hard right now.
Harper able to unload under pressure. Stop and go is Spiller. And Nebraska, the Cornhuskers, all dressed in white. Drop down, Spiller led by Eric Haig. You know, 7 different starting lineups up front. And Dan, the last 4 straight games they've been able to start the same 5, so they're getting some consistency back. Third down at 17. Shotgun is Harper. Good protection. Pocket breaks down. Harper rolls. Sets up and fires. That ball nearly intercepted on the sideline. Incomplete.
You know, Bobby Hutchinson, Craig, wanted to be a graduate assistant this year, and because of injuries and the experiments moved Thomas Austin over to left guard, they inserted Hutchinson as he comes limping off the field just a little bit. Biggest problem was him getting in shape, and it seems like he's still working on that.
I tell you, Dan, the biggest probably plus was the fact that at the time, Tommy Bowden kept Hutchinson on the 85-man scholarship roster, which allowed him to come back despite his, well, so-called retirement. Another line drive, kick up, balls on the ground. Clemson covers up at the 45. That's the danger. You get the line drive, you run up on it, and you got to make sure you bring it in.
Well, if Clemson does come up with this football, and it appears that it's going to be that way, there you go. Officially, you see a brilliant decision in theory to come up and make a play and try and catch this ball on the run, but if you lose your focus for a split second, that ball's on the ground. Now Nebraska, a team that works so hard to get the momentum in this ball game, they come out, their defense does a great job, 3 and out stop Clemson forcing the punt. They're going to get great field position, and then one bad decision or badly executed play, and now Clemson's back in control with the momentum again.
Chad Deal covered up, great special teams hustle, and Clemson back with a football. Third quarter, 10:22 to play. Tigers with the 4-point lead. Harper up top. Contact. Catch is still made. Flags are down. But what a grab by C.J. Spiller. Anthony West gave him a bump. Spiller came down with it.
It looked like he caught it with one hand. It kind of stuck in his elbow. Great adjustment to the ball by Spiller.
There are not many times you're going to see a quarterback giving a running back a chance one-on-one up the field against a corner. As a quarterback, Dan, you and I know that that's not a matchup you generally look for on the football field, but when you got the speed and the playmaking ability of C.J. Spiller, I guess you give him a chance.
And Swinney just 39 years young. Wide receiver coach, and then an assistant head coach named back in 07 under Tommy Bowden. Up top, man. Oh, right on the button. Touchdown, Jacoby Ford. Could not have thrown a better ball. Cullen Harper.
There was a moment there where Ford was even with both safeties. And then he exploded, accelerated at about the 5-yard line and chased this ball down. It appeared it might have been overthrown, but when you run a 10-200 meters, you're never overthrown.
Well, and didn't you get the feeling when talking to Dabo Swinney that he really was going to come out at some point and give Jacoby Ford a chance to show those wheels? They had the perfect play called at the perfect time, and boy, was that well executed.
Buck Colts splits the uprights. You know, Ford has that 10-2 speed. He goes the 60-meter and 6'5". And Dan, you're right. That's a totally different speed on the final 10 yards. 41-yard touchdown. Clemson up by 11. Now, points off turnovers. 3 giveaways by Nebraska, and Clemson has scored all 21 off the 3 turnovers by the Cornhuskers.
And it appeared that Nebraska was going to get the momentum after a 3-and-out defensive stop, the muff punt by Niles Paul, and Clemson going for the jugular with that bomb to Ford. Turned this thing into a near rout.
Over 10 minutes to play in the third quarter. Buck Colts, strong leg, back at the goal line. Niles Paul picks it up, 15. Finds a seam at the 20. Still on his feet and pushes the pile up to the 25-yard line.
Well, important for Nebraska to answer, though. You saw them come out strong. Clemson answered. Nebraska's got to come back, and here's a big run to start it off.
Castile 50, Castile 40. And rumbles to the 20-yard line, out of bounds, and Nebraska indeed answers back.
Well, it's like I told you, they're not going to be able to run the ball.
Well, I'll tell you, it's a great play, just straight ahead running. Watch the seam that Quentin Castile gets to. Then, of course, a great move on Chris Clemens, the safety who should have been there. We talk about the sure tackling they displayed the whole first half. Right there does not get any worse. Chris Clemens put his head down. His feet were stuck in cement, and that's all Quentin Castile needed to get past him. Huge run to start this drive off.
A gain of 58 yards. Nebraska back on the front porch, knocking on the door. 1st and 10 at the 17-yard line. Castile meets a wall of orange. No gain. 2nd down. Clock running up on 9 minutes to play in the third quarter.
That 58-yarder's a career long for Castile. And this has got the feeling of maybe a shootout here as Nebraska refuses to fold offensively. All they have to do is make sure of the ball and quit turning it over.
Well, guys, we talked to Bo Pelini. We got the feeling that Roy Hello was going to be the big back, but at the end of the first half, we saw Quentin Castile and his big frame in there having a little bit of success. Looks like Bo Pelini's going to ride the hot horse here.
Castile taken down and sliding through Daquan Bowers. Well, this young freshman from Bamberg, South Carolina, having himself a big Gator Bowl.
Well, watch the quickness as he jumps inside here, and he meets Castile about 4 yards deep in the backfield. Boy, is he a good-looking player.
Yeah, remember, he was a running back in high school. Can you imagine trying to bring this guy down?
No. Can you?
No.
That might have hurt even imagining that.
I don't even think the three of us would imagine that.
I wouldn't want it. He committed, by the way, his sophomore year in high school to Clemson. As loss of 2. As Ganz steps up in the pocket, looks, fires, caught! Touchdown, Todd Peterson! The Huskers answer back.
Well, we've got ourselves a ball game here.
You talked about the being a pocket passer. The calmest place on the field is when you step up into the pocket. You let the ends go by, Bowers goes by, Alexander goes by, and that opens up the throwing lane for Ganz, and he found big number 17 for the score. Great job of stepping up into the calm spot of the pocket.
And there are not two guys that appreciate that more than you and myself, Dan.
Extra point splits the uprights. 4th touchdown grab of the season for Peterson, and Ganz now with his 25th toss for Nebraska.
Yeah, and if it's not Swift, it's Peterson, the 2 seniors we talked about earlier. The big target over the middle, but watch as Ganz steps up. He lets the defensive ends go by, and all of a sudden, hey, there's number 17 wide open.
They got the right play at the right time, and Todd Peterson was being a football player. He was supposed to come across flat across the middle of the field, but he saw the soft spot, and the defense figured, why run right into coverage? I'm going to turn up the field a little bit, and I'm going to find a soft spot. Joe Ganz and he on the same page. Everybody's fired up in red and white right now.
4 plays, 75 yards, just over 2 minutes. And the Huskers close the gap back to 4, 21-17. Spiller at the goal line, flags are down. This kid is quick as a cat, lost his shoe, and goes out of bounds at the 37. He blew a tire. What a flag is at the 25.
During the return, holding, number 10 of the return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul, 1st down.
Now they're saying number 10, that would be Cullen Harper. I doubt that Cullen Harper was the guilty party here. Maybe it's on the outside. There's a face mask that they got away with.
They're trying to get it rolling on both sides of the ball here.
Davis stacked up and dropped for a loss of 2 back inside the 15-yard line. Well, what a game. Zach Potter teams up with Kohler, the middle inside linebacker. And Davis has been unable to really unleash any of that thunder.
Yeah, the other amazing stat I've found about this Nebraska defense is they only have 10 interceptions on the year. 4 of them have been from Potter and Sue, defensive linemen.
A loss of 3, 2nd down and 13. Harper, quick throw, far side, it's up for grabs. Intercepted, Nebraska! Steinkühler with the big play.
Oh, this guy is just everywhere on the field. You see, he's right on the right side of your screen. That ball's kicked up in the air, and it was not Steinkühler. It was Blake Lawrence, number 40, that comes across the linebacker. And very well-read play by the Nebraska defense. Cullen Harper, boy, look at Carl Pelini. He's fired up. But Cullen Harper, that's a bad feeling when that ball is bounced up in the air.
Play was made by Prince Amukamara. The defensive back came up and caused that ball to be bounced in the air.
Nebraska back at it. As Castile squares the pads, and boy, he took a hit by Chris Clemons, the free safety, number 22.
Yeah, I bet Clemons heard about the last time that Castile got loose on that 58-yarder. He missed the tackle. He wasn't going to miss that one. We heard that one very clearly.
Under 6 minutes to play in the 3rd. 3rd down and goal.
Right back to the gun, you see. Oh, here he goes stepping on the center.
Play clock down to 2. Just got it off with 1 to spare. Ganz pumps, fires, up top, and over the outstretched hand of Todd Peterson.
This play didn't look good from the get-go, did it? I mean, they were late getting the ball snapped. He went back up under center and just lets this one go too far for the 6'4" Todd Peterson.
Well, that's another one of those throws, Dan. You see Bo Pelini's reaction. Upset out of the end zone. I don't know what he's asking for. Maybe he thought a little bit of face guarding. But I don't know if I agree with that. But the bottom line is when you got a 6'4" receiver, you want to give him a chance to go up for that football, especially when the defensive back is not even looking for the ball.
Alex Henry from 28 yards, and it's up and good. Henry hit from 48 in the second quarter and connects from 28. Clemson 21, Nebraska 20 at the Gator Bowl in Jacksonville. And a Happy New Year from Jacksonville. Third quarter, Gator Bowl, Clemson 21 and Nebraska 20. And the last scoring drive, 4 plays, negative yards, and Henry hits from 28 yards to close the gap to 1. Adi Kanalik set to kick from the 30-yard line. Back to receive is C.J. Spiller. Line drive, and Spiller backpedals nearly to the back line of the end zone, takes the knee, and Clemson will take this football at the 20-yard line.
Well, that's the perfect weapon for a return game like Clemson has. Adi Kanalik with another touchback, and that one 9 yards deep in the end zone.
Third down and 6. At the 24-yard line, Harper, shotgun. In motion is Aaron Kelly. Sets, high snap. Harper takes it down, throws a swing pass outside, and a rare drop. Spiller through his hands, and Clemson will have to punt away.
Well, that's just a flat drop by Spiller. He was wide open out there, and he had a lot of room in front of him. The nearest Husker coming to him to make a tackle was Ndamukong Suh.
And he was going to have, I like my odds with C.J. Spiller in the open field. As good as Ndamukong Suh is, I think C.J. Spiller is going to win that battle more times than not.
Jimmy Mainers at his own 10-yard line. And that wind continues to blow in his face here in the third quarter. Blocked! It took the Clemson bounce, but not much up to the 31-yard line.
Ricky Tenarce came in from the left side and made that block. Took the ball right off the foot of the punter, Jimmy Mainers. Watch from the right side of the screen. Right hand right on the ball. That's the dreaded double thud sound you'll hear. The worst sound a punter can ever hear. Well, the thud of the foot, the thud of the block.
Boom. That's right. Now, I don't know what Sadat Chambers, number 27, the up back. You see, he right there just bumps from the outside, almost like he just said, oh, a little shrug here is good enough for me, but obviously not nearly enough of a shrug to slow down and prevent the block from happening.
And that play is proof while Tenarce was a special teams MVP in 06-07. Oh, what a grab in traffic. How did McNeil, the tight end, turn and make that grab from Ganz?
Well, they believe they're going to win this game. That's how. You got to make plays like this if you think you're going to win the game. How about Ganz again stepping up, avoiding the sack there, and then the left-handed, one-handed stab by McNeil.
Yeah, that was Brandon May, number 20, that came clean up the gap, and Joe Ganz doing a super job just buying that little extra time, little slide in the pocket. You can't expect that ball to be right on the money in that situation, and a tremendous catch by Mike McNeil.
Huskers looking to take the lead. Back on the ground they go. Castile stacked up, driven back to the 18-yard line.
Yeah, this running attack for Nebraska's got to be one cut and go. 2 or 3 cuts, you're going to be tackled for a loss as Castile was there.
You hit it right on the head, Dan. I was going to say that Castile's game is not bouncing things outside. His game is tackle to tackle. His job is to hit the hole where he's supposed to hit it, make one cut, and that's it. If it's no gain, it's no gain, but he doesn't have the physical ability to hit that thing up inside and then beat Clemson to the sideline.
Second down. Clock coming up on 2.5 minutes to play. They'll try Castile again, and just inside the tackle. In fact, he just ran by Slauson, the right guard, the big wide body. And Slauson found him just a little bit of an opening, and And Castile took advantage.
Yeah, that's one of those plays at the end of the play. The defense helps the runner pick up extra yards. Cavell Connor came in and blasted Castile forward about 4 yards.
It was a great hit, but he did give him 3 or 4 more yards. That hit was made for a 1-yard gain.
85 yards rushing for Castile. Now Nebraska. 3rd down and 5. Clemson fans on their feet. Tigers showing blitz. Ganz throws a swing incomplete. Nate Swift right at the 1-yard line, off his hands.
Well, I don't know what Cresden Butler was thinking, but he's one-on-one coverage with Nate Swift on the backside and gave up the inside. Dan, you know as a quarterback, your eyes light up when you see that backside coverage head up or outside on a receiver running a slant. It's a gimme. Pelini knows, boy, those are ones that we have to cash in on. You give up 7, you're going to have to settle for 3 again.
Alex Henry set for a 28-yard field goal to put Nebraska on top. Henry from 48. Henry from 28. And Henry hits another 28-yarder, and Nebraska leads Clemson by 2. Spiller will get a chance to return from the 3-yard line. Right up the middle he goes. Breaks the tackle. Stacked up and dropped at the 31-yard line.
Well, we talked in the first half how Bo Pelini would be happy going in with a 0-0 ball game given how badly his team has performed. Second half here, Dabo's got to be fired up. Dabo Swinney, that his team is only down 2 points right now.
Harper in trouble. Takes a seat.
House of Spears got him again.
Yeah, Mr. Sue, how are you?
93 right there. Watch him work on the right guard, Mason Cloy there. And just with one hand brings down Cullen Harper. And Harper's a big dude. 6'4", 225, but not big enough for Mr. Sue.
Yeah, and Ndamukong Suh, I don't know how you can allow him to get that one-on-one matchup. Inside, he's too good of an athlete. He's going to make you pay the price most of the time.
Under a minute to play in the 3rd quarter. Clemson with the ball, throws it out to the flat. It's caught. Spiller turns on the Jets and is bumped out of bounds at the 46-yard line. Matt O'Hanlon, the free safety, number 33, made the play.
Just a little bubble screen to the left side. You know, when you're as talented as C.J. Spiller is, you try and find and create ways to get him the football. Right there, a good example. They picked up about half the yardage that they needed for the first down, made back the yardage that they lost on the previous sack by Sue.
3rd down and 8. Shotgun. Now Harper steps up.
Showing blitz, Nebraska. Everybody up at the line.
9-man rush. Swing it. A little seam, and the hit is to Grisham.
And how about Ndamukong Suh making the tackle? Unbelievable. The blitz, it was a zone blitz. He dropped out, looked for the slant, and kept the receiver from picking up the first down. Another great play by the Portland, Oregon native.
In the open field.
That ends the 3rd quarter here in Jacksonville. Nebraska 23, Clemson 21. And we'll come back to Jacksonville after this message and a word from your local station. You're watching the Conica Minolta Gator Bowl on CBS. Welcome back to Jacksonville, the Gator Bowl, as we start the 4th quarter. Nebraska 23, Clemson 21. Craig Buller, Jack Steve Berline, Dan Fouts. Glad you're with us. Hope you're enjoying this one, guys. I tell you, Bo Pelini, obviously at the half, guys, challenged Nebraska, and they outscored Clemson in that 3rd quarter, 20-7.
They really did. Now, it's a tale of 2 halves, really. The first half, we didn't see much in terms of offense at all. Second half, Nebraska came right out and did exactly what Dr. Bo Pelini ordered and said, hey, we're going to take this thing down and score some points. Made a statement right away, Dan.
Well, they were aggressive. They threw the ball down the field deep. They got big plays out of both their senior wide receivers, and we've got ourselves a ball game here.
Mainers for Clemson, set to punt at his own 31-yard line. Good high hanger. That ball's taken to the 12-yard line by Swift. Here he comes near side, cuts it back up the middle, flags are down, and Swift is driven out of bounds at the 39-yard line. But a flag at the 24.
During the return. Illegal block in the back on the return team. 10-yard penalty from the spot of the foul. First down.
Castile lines up alongside Ganz in the shotgun at midfield. Castile takes the ball, spins out of a tackle on his feet at the 40. Watch out. Castile at the 25-20. Castile at the 10-5. And out of bounds. They will mark Castile out at the 9-yard line. What a run by Quentin Castile.
Haven't had many missed tackles by the Tigers today, but there's a couple on this play. The draw play to Castile. He makes a couple miss right in the hole there. Number 20, who's had a great day for the Tigers, just could not bring down Brandon May, middle linebacker.
Brandon May was the first one. Then once again, we see Chris Clemons coming up late. Bad angle. He let up a little bit. He needed to be there to finish off. Whatever Brandon May couldn't finish off was good initial contact, but Quentin Castile is a big dude, and he's not going to go down unless you take him down.
All of 121 yards, all since the second quarter. Pushing the pile inside the 5-yard line. Scott and Clemons made the tackle, and Slauson.
Not a whole lot of dancing going on by Castile now. He's just planting that foot, that one cut and go, and Slauson leading the way.
Dan, this has to go back to what Bo Pelini decided to do. He went with Hellieu earlier. Marlon Lucky has seen some reps, but Castile has given him power and some speed combined.
And that was the story of the game coming in, the power of Nebraska against the speed and quickness of Clemson.
We just didn't know it was going to be Quentin Castile doing all the work.
Second down and goal as the clock runs up on 6 minutes of play. Castile, the ball carrier, stacked up, driven back. He'll lose a yard. Back to the 6-yard line. Daquan Bowers right there, big number 93.
Boy, how many tackles has Daquan Bowers made? How many pressures on the quarterback? That was a very critical play by the young freshman.
He is a 19-year-old man. I tell you what, it's going to be scary what this kid's going to be doing the next couple of years. I can guarantee you this, there's a lot of NFL teams that would love to be in position to get a hold of this guy right now.
A year ago, he's playing high school football. Today, Gator Bowl. Ganz pedals back, pumps, goes to the end zone up top. And through the hands of the tight end, Mike McNeil.
Pass intended for McNeil.
That brings up 4th and goal. So for Clemson, the best case scenario. Nebraska gets a field goal. They'll get the ball back with 5:24. And possibly only down by a count of 26-21.
And if you're Dabo Swinney and you're Colin Harper in this Clemson offense, you're grateful that you're now going to have the opportunity. Your defense once again has done their job, holding to a field goal. You've got to step up at some point and make some plays, score a touchdown.
Alex Henry punches in his 4th field goal of the afternoon. And Nebraska opens up a 5-point lead on Clemson. 5:20 remaining.
21.
Ronnie Kanalik at the 30. Strong legs it. High floater. Wynn's going to push that ball down at the 12-yard line. Spiller took a hit at the 22-yard line.
Alfonso Dennard. We also got the benefit of the fact that Spiller was cutting at the time, so it looked a lot worse than it really was as Dillard lays the shoulder into Spiller. But watch Spiller, he's just slipping at the last minute.
Right. Spiller at an extreme disadvantage. That's the first time we've seen someone get a really clean shot at him.
Looked like it knocked the wind out of him or something.
5:13 to play. Clemson with the ball. 2 timeouts remaining. The pitch, Davis. And the power back squares up those pads and works his way to the 29-yard line. Steinkuhler took him on.
Stopped by O'Hanlon.
O'Hanlon also in on the tackle, number 33.
This should be a good time, I think. Call me crazy, but for Clemson to start thinking about scoring a touchdown.
You're crazy.
Dabo Swinney, he knows he's got plenty of time, but this drive has got to be the drive. He can stay with his regular offense, but there's got to be a sense of urgency out there now for the Tiger offense.
Clock under 5 to play. Handoff, nothing doing. Davis is dropped for a loss. Back at the 25-yard line.
Yeah, that's our man Sue again.
Those aren't boos. Those are Sue.
Yeah, he'd make Johnny Cash proud.
Fantastic game. This guy, everything that we've heard and that's been built up about Ndamukong Suh, 100% legit. What a joy to talk to him and hear his philosophy, hear his story. But to see him come out here and dominate a game like he has been pretty impressive.
Clemson 0 for 9 on their last third down conversion. They're looking at 3rd down and 8. Clock running, 4:10. To the near sideline, it's caught out of bounds. That stops the clock. Aaron Kelly with a big grab, and the officials are hearing the barking on that Clemson sideline. Thought maybe a late hit.
Yeah, flag was thrown on the sidelines, no question, Craig. Good job by Harper reading the corner blitz, don't you think?
Personal foul. Defense number 33. 15-yard penalty from the end of the play. First down.
Matt O'Hanlon, not only the first down, but stacked 15 more yards on it.
Well, you're going to see the corner blitz coming right here, straight off the side. No one to block him, and you're going to see Colin Harper do what a quarterback should do. Stand in there strong and make the throw when your team needs it. 3rd and 10. That was a huge play for the Clemson Tigers. Then you tack on the 15 for the personal foul. They've got some confidence going now.
4 minutes to play at the 49-yard line of Nebraska. Clemson down by 5. Davis trying to be patient, wait for a little hole to open behind his big front line of Hutchinson, Cloy, and Walker.
And now you wonder about the fatigue factor for Nebraska, because they don't really substitute all that much along their defensive line. We've seen Sue in there. We've seen Potter. We've seen Steinkuhler. And you see Steinkuhler with his hands on his hips, as well as Potter and Sue. These young men are getting a little bit tired, a little bit worn down.
Well, and you mentioned before, Dan, how they dominate time of possession. That's the best friend of a defense like Nebraska, where they get that time to rest.
2nd down and 6. Under center is Harper. Play action pass. Good protection. Dancing, looking for help. Spins. In trouble. Throws it away. And incomplete up alongside the Clemson sideline. That ball was intended for Grisham. And Harper nearly pulled off a little Houdini act.
Yeah, and almost got picked off. This ball in the air for an eternity. Look at the effort by Grisham with the left hand. Well, I'm not so sure that's not a catch. His feet are in bounds. Ball appeared to hit the ground.
Nebraska, 3 timeouts remaining. Clemson with 2.
That was another play there, Dan, and Craig, I thought Colin Harper might have done himself better service sitting in the pocket still. He starts moving, he gets those feet going, and he ran into some trouble on the left side.
Towels are being waved on that Nebraska bench. 3rd down and 6. Clemson trying to come back from 5 down. In the pocket, Harper flushed out, tucks and runs, and is tripped up. And Harper slow coming up off the grass at the 43-yard line.
And this is no question that Clemson's going to have to go for it on 4th down.
Well, Dabo Swinney is going to have to pick the best play in his playbook right here. 4th and 5. A lot of different things you can do with it.
My first choice, if you're asking me, Stephen, I know you were just about to, is I would be looking up number 80, Aaron Kelly, their all-time great receiver. He's looking to get single coverage at the top of the screen.
Yep, he's at the top of the screen.
4th down and 4, play clock to 3, and now Dabo Swinney will call timeout, and Colin Harper will make his way to the sideline. Well, they burned some precious seconds there, deciding to take a timeout.
Well, it's okay. They've got 2:26 left in the game.
And basically, this is the game.
This is the game. This is the most important play of the season for Clemson, without a doubt. I really think Dabo Swinney doing the right thing, making sure they got the perfect play, making sure that everybody knows what's expected of them. Get a play that your quarterback is comfortable with, too. You know, a lot of times in a situation like this, the play the coach wants to run, is not the play the quarterback feels most comfortable with. And you ask Dabo Swinney, you ask any offensive coach, they want to run a play the quarterback feels good about. They want him to go up there with that confidence it's the right play.
And if the coach has a better idea, his job is to convince the quarterback that this is a better play because of that.
Here's what I'm thinking.
This is what we're expecting out of Nebraska's defense. Now, if you're looking at Nebraska, do they sit back and play zone, protecting against a potential game-winning touchdown pass? Because remember, the advantage that these guys have in the orange is their speed. We saw it with Jacoby Ford on the long touchdown catch. So a lot of things are going into this 4th down and 4 for both sides.
2:26 to play, 4th quarter. So after the timeout, shotgun formation, Cullen Harper. 2 wide receivers, bottom of your screen. Harper sets up, throws, hits. Ford breaks the tackle inside the 30 and is thrown down by O'Hanlon at the 26-yard line. Well, the timeout was the right call.
It was, and you got the one-on-one matchup on the super quick Jacoby Ford. Does a tremendous job beating the one-on-one coverage inside, and a good, strong, poised throw by Cullen Harper. This Clemson team has new life.
And a gain of 16. 2:05 to play. Once again, Harper from the shotgun. 2-step drop, throws up top, got a man wide open, 10-yard line, and it's the big man, Aaron Kelly. 6'5", senior, Marietta, Georgia, all Mr. Everything at Clemson.
I think Dabo Swinney told his quarterbacks, hang in the pocket and take a look at your playmakers. First it's Ford, now it's Kelly, but that front offensive line, great pass protection. Nobody near Harper on either of those last 2 throws.
Great protection and a super job by Aaron Kelly settling down in that soft spot of his own defense.
And back-to-back completions of 16 and 17 yards. Under 2 minutes to play, 1st and goal, Clemson. Harper throws, batted down, incomplete. That was Eric Haig, the left corner.
Well, he's right here. He's coming on the blitz just free, and watch him get up in the air and snuff that ball. And Kelly was open inside the 5-yard line.
He was, and Hag did a great job, though, of hiding behind his defensive end. I don't think Cullen Harper ever saw him. He thought he had a clean throwing lane.
10th play of this drive as the Cornhuskers show blitz.
Yes, they do.
Harper takes a glance at the sideline. Play clock to 12. Gun. The snaps away. Pressure. Harper's in trouble. In trouble and down at the 27-yard line.
Hag again. Another huge play as Carl Pelini. He doesn't dial up. He goes Wi-Fi for these last 2 plays.
Dabo Swinney telling Cullen Harper right now, you just can't take the sack right here. Do something with that football. You saw the blitz coming. Hag twice in a row, this time coming from the front. Cullen Harper had to see him the whole time. Got to get rid of that ball. You can't take the 20-yard loss or 15-yard loss, whatever it was in this situation.
How about Hag trying to bring down a guy that outweighs him by about 30 pounds? But that is Bo Pelini's M.O.
Defense.
And Carl Pelini's M.O. And you know that Anthony up in heaven looking down at his 2 boys saying, way to go. Bring that blitz.
And that's about as close to exuberance you're ever going to see from Bo Pelini. I think Carl Pelini right next to him right here, he's the one that's got a little bit more of the pizzazz, the emotion when he gets excited.
Well, he's the older brother telling the youngster what, no. Hey, Bo Pelini's the head coach.
You know, now you've got 3rd and 26. You got 2 downs to get to the end zone. You got to get to the end zone. It's 3rd and goal at the 26.
It is.
So get half of it here if you're Cullen Harper.
Clemson use their final timeout. Harper shotgun. Good protection. Pedals back up over the middle. Incomplete. Spiller had it, but 2 Huskers were hanging on his back.
Matt O'Hanlon, who had the unfortunate personal foul penalty, atones for that with this play right there.
Wow.
Just came over the top of Spiller on the post route out of the backfield, attacking that too deep. Great reaction by O'Hanlon.
Well, Clemson got exactly what they wanted, that too deep, and they had Spiller running right down the middle of the field. It was a good throw by Colin Harper. Maybe
Clemson has no timeouts. The play clock's running down. They're totally disorganized.
At 4, at 3, what could be the final play? Over the middle, incomplete, and Nebraska holds off Clemson. Jacoby Ford was the intended receiver, and Dan, you're right. There was some confusion on the field on that final play, and Colin Harper took the snap with 3 on the play clock.
They might have been better off taking the delay of game penalty. Move them back 5 yards, be able to huddle up, talk about the proper play you want to call. But even so, if you're hurried like that, your playmaker in this situation is Aaron Kelly. He's 6'5". Let him go up and catch the alley-oop.
I agree 100%. You had 4th and goal from the 26. Big deal if it goes back to the 31. Let that clock run out, and then even if it's a jump ball, you let your big guy go up and try and make a play on it. Let him get those paws on it.
And the final snap, Ganz is going to take that football. I don't blame him. The senior closes out his Nebraska career with a 26-21 Gator Bowl win over Clemson. For Steve Berline, Dan Fouts, Craig Bolerjack saying so long from Jacksonville. Our final score, 26-21 Nebraska. Nebraska scores the 26-21 win, and this has been a presentation of CBS Sports.